Okay, welcome everybody. I think we're good to get started. So my name's Daryl Moon. I'm going to talk about building better Lightning record pages today. Big thank you to our sponsors for this event. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. So big thank you to Auto, PDF Butler, Media Monks, Gridmate, and also thank you to the Trailblazer community for helping present this event. Now, the first thing that I'm told I need to do is to give you a copy of the link, and this one here. I'll post that in our chat. Hopefully I'm in the right chat for the session. That one. Okay, so the idea is with the raffle is that you need to enroll in this, and at the end of the session, we will draw a winner. Okay, so click on that link while I'm going through the presentation, enroll in the raffle, and we will draw it at the end. Hello to Alish Bar. So I've been doing Salesforce for a little while. I came to it fairly late in my IT career, so I've been doing lots of other IT things for about 30 years, and then the last 7 years working with Salesforce, and I'm one of those accidental admins. So I quickly found that I needed to do some certifications and got addicted to Trailhead and collected lots of badges along the way. I worked full-time for a company in Brisbane in Queensland, Australia as a Salesforce improvement specialist, and I love the job title because I think it's a job for life. There's always things that I can improve. I also developed some training materials at Certified CRM, a website that I operate, and also deliver Salesforce administrator training for the University of Canberra as well. And I've done 4 or 5 sessions with them already over the last couple of years. So today I'm going to talk about what is good design, or my opinion of that. Take a look at page layouts, because even though we're really focusing now on Lightning pages, there are still some parts of the page layouts that we need. We'll do a demo of that part, and then we'll take a look at Lightning pages. We'll do a demo of that, and then we'll have some room at the end for questions and answers and drawing our quiz, our raffle. So to me, a good design should be something that's clean, simple, and uncluttered, and very much a less is more. The less that you can put on a record page, the better. Okay, if there's a field that's not used, get rid of it. Get it off the page. Move it somewhere else, or take it off the page entirely. Because we're all about having a nice, clean, simple, easy page to navigate. And that's what we're talking about, the ergonomics. So the flow throughout the page should be logical and consistent. So whether you're looking at the account page or a contact page or an opportunity or a case, the basic layout should be quite similar. There may be some subtle differences between them, but your users should be able to find things in the same place. The last point about a good design is that it should perform well. And yes, we're talking about technical performance, and that's dependent upon network and all sorts of things, but we're also talking about the user experience, in that if they need to create a new opportunity, or if they need to move an opportunity through an approval process, make it easy for them. Okay, so it's user performance as well. So not just the technical side, but also making sure that the function that they have to do is easy, quickly, quick to achieve, and has a logical flow. So there are still some sections that we need from our page layout, even though we're building Lightning record pages. So we can break our pages into sections on the page layout, and that's really helpful. Let me sit on mute. Yeah. Testing, can anybody hear me there? Testing, 1, 2, 3, hello. Andrew can hear me? Yes, yes. Okay, I've just turned the microphone off, then back on again. Okay, good, you can hear. All right. I'll just start back again on the start of this slide then. So breaking our page into sections, and the reason for that is so that the users can collapse those sections that they're not interested in, and I'll demonstrate that. The buttons that we display on the page, get rid of all those buttons that they don't need. Okay. Related lists. Now, for a Lightning record page, all we need is, well, we do need those related lists on the page. Okay, but the order that we want them in the way I'm going to demonstrate today doesn't matter. As long as they're on there, that's the important thing. The final thing is compact layout. We do need that because that's going to be used in the header of our page. So let's go and have a look at a brand new org straight out of the box that I created. I will just switch my screen, stop sharing that, switch to another one, screen number 2, this one, and make sure I selected the right one. Yes. Okay, so here is a brand new org that I've set up for Pakistan Dreaming. Straight out of the box. I'm going to go straight to, well, for starters, there's a whole lot of tabs up the top here that we probably really don't need. So we should go into the app and get rid of the ones that we don't want. One other thing that amazes me is if I view all of the apps, why is sales down here? So I pick that up and I drag it up to the top. So when I click on the 9 dots, sales is always at the top. Okay, so the other thing I do is I get rid of all the things in here that I don't want. Don't want forecast, don't want cases, don't want people, calendar, groups, chat, reports and dashboards I'll keep. Files, I don't want them there. Tasks, I don't want them there. So I trim that down to just what I want. But let's look at our account page. Okay, there's a few things wrong with this. I don't know why, but Salesforce insists on related being the first tab. Why? That's useless to me. I always move details to being the first tab because that's where my users want to go. They want to look at the detail of the account. Having the activity tab on the side here is really helpful. I like that layout, and that's set by a template, by a Lightning record page template. And we can adjust that if we wish. But let's now dig in and have a look. Okay, so that's what our standard page layout looks like. It's a little bit long. There's a lot of stuff in there. So let's go to setup, and we can go, the shortcut that we can go is we can go straight to edit object. And this will take us to our account object. And we can jump into page layout from there. And I'll go straight to the account layout. Now, the first thing we see is a whole bunch of buttons here for Classic. Don't want them. Get rid of them. Why do I get rid of them? Probably doesn't make a huge amount of performance difference, but it will make a little bit of difference. Remember, these are all part of the metadata for that page when it loads. So my logic is, don't need them, get rid of them. Okay, so now here's our lightning ones. And again, I'm going to get rid of them. Why? Because I'm going to use dynamic actions on my lightning record page. So I don't need any of these buttons. So I go through and I get rid of all of these buttons. Don't need any of them. So just quickly drag them up the top there, get rid of them. One by one, only takes a minute. And don't forget that your users will be loading this page maybe dozens of times every day. So every time they load it, okay, we might actually put one back. We might just put back edit. And maybe we put back delete, only because I want to show you something later. Okay, that might be enough. Maybe new opportunity, we might leave that. Okay, on our account detail page, these buttons here, I get rid of these as well. Okay, all these standard buttons, these are the classic. Don't need them, get rid of them. Oops. Okay, so we drag all those out of the way. Okay. Now, I mentioned sections. The address is already in a section, but as you can see here, it says the header is only visible on edit. Okay, we need to make that visible on the detail page as well. And the reason being is that gives us the little chevron that we can click on to collapse it. So we'll do the same with this one. We'll make that visible. And we'll also do the same with this system information one. We'll make that visible as well. Now there's a custom link down here in billing. I don't want that. I do want the description, but I don't want it there. I actually want to pick that up and pop it up here. Now the reason it's in a section on its own is because it's full width of the page, as you can see. So it allows a nice big text field. Okay, so that was our first part that we wanted to do. Actually, we've done two of them. So we've broken our page into sections and we've displayed the headers of those sections. And we've gotten rid of all of the unnecessary buttons that we don't need. Okay, that's a good start. Next thing is related lists. Which related lists do we need? So for an account, I probably want contacts, opportunities, yeah, maybe cases. That's not bad, but I'll tell you what's missing. Files is missing because I want to use that. Oops, I'm on the wrong one. Files. Doesn't matter really where I put them. And I'll have notes. Looks like I haven't got new notes turned on. Okay, that's all right. Otherwise, the notes button would appear there. What about account history? Maybe we don't have account history enabled. Okay, that's why that's not there. Okay, that's all right. But so we've got the related list that we want. Okay, great. Let's save that. And the last one I want to do is the compact layout. Okay, so we've got a system default, but unfortunately, we can't do anything with that. We can't edit it, but we can clone it. So we can clone that and go, okay, which fields? So we'll call this Pakistan Dream Compact Layout. Okay, I don't want account type. I maybe don't need that. Maybe I don't want the address there. Maybe I don't want the site. Okay, so I've just got just the critical things that I need there. Account owner is a handy one to have there. Okay, so I've saved that. So now I've got a new compact layout, but one thing I need to do is assign that as the default. Now I'm going to go through fairly quickly most of these things. So if there's something that you missed because I've been too quick, you'll be able to see the recording later. Okay, so we've done our page layout, just what we want. We've got our compact layout. Let's go back now and have a look at our record. We'll have to refresh the page. Okay, and we were working on the detail page. Okay, so our header, which comes from our compact layout, much tidier, just the details that we need, that's good. Here is why I check that box on these sections. Okay, without that display in view mode as well as edit, you won't have this option to simply collapse them like that. And if you now go to another account record, let's say we go to Edge Communication and we go to our details page, it remembers that setting for you. Okay, so that's important. And that's very helpful. Train your users in how to do that. So if they're not interested in that system information, they can just collapse it, and all their account pages, they won't see that. Okay, we've still got a lot of fields on that page, some of those that maybe we don't really need. So we could go back to the fields and we could get rid of some of those, but we'll see some more about that when we get to dynamic lightning pages right at the very end, when we jump into a preview org of Winter 23 and see that. Okay, and we've got our activity panel over the side here, but you might notice that something's happened and that we've lost some of those buttons. Where's the send email and stuff like that? Okay, we went a little bit overboard on getting rid of our buttons. We better go back and have another go at that. While we're there, we may well get rid of this fax number, because I don't remember the last time I used a fax number, and we don't use one at our company at all. So let's go back to the page layout. So that's where those buttons come from. So we do need, down here, we do need those activity buttons. So go back to our lightning. I forgot about that. Our lightning. Okay, so call is one. Oh no, log a call. That's probably the one we want. Log a call email. New task, and there's one more. It might be post to chatter, I think. Okay, we'll put that one in, and they will load in the order that we've got them here. Okay, so these are special sort of actions that they only apply to that side panel. Okay, so these three buttons, the edit, delete, and new opportunity, they'll appear up the top right hand side of the page, but these ones will only appear in the activity panel. Okay, so we said there was a couple of fields in here we don't want. Fax, we'll get rid of that. There's one about account site, maybe we don't need that. Maybe we're not using parent accounts, maybe we can get rid of that one. Oops, clicked the wrong button. Okay, so that's not one that we can remove. But what we can do is we can stick it down the bottom here in system information and get it out of the way. Okay, and that way our users can collapse those fields if they want to. Maybe we don't want the ticker symbol, and maybe we don't want the SIC code. If they're non-American customers, then that might not be much use to us. Okay, so we're looking pretty good now. Let's save that and go back and have another look. So we'll go back to Edge Communications. We'll refresh the page. We should have our buttons back. For activities, yes, we do. Awesome. Okay, so we've got those back. So that's where they are driven from. And on our details page, now we've got a much tidier page, and if we were to hide the address and the additional information, that's it. That's our account page. Nice and simple. No scrolling, which is really important. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Less is more. Here is just what you need, nothing more. We didn't even include a button to change owner because we know that we can click on this icon and we can do a change owner from there. So why clutter the screen with extra buttons and things? Okay, so that's our first part. So we've got our page layout looking pretty good. Let's switch back to our presentation slide. Stop sharing that one. Switch screens to screen number 1. Okay, so we've demonstrated that. Nothing really outstanding there except clearing off all those buttons and fields that we don't need and enabling those section headers so that we can collapse them. Okay, so the next part on Lightning record pages, there's quite a few things we're going to take a look at here. One is templates. And the key thing here is keep it consistent across all the pages. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, but try to use always the same one. I'll introduce you to a technique that I use for tabs. Have a look at it, see if you like it. Again, it's all about less is more. Okay, so we can hide away the things that we don't need, particularly related lists. We'll also look at component visibility, so we can only show things when we need them. And that gets really exciting when we look at the dynamic pages. Okay, I'll do the demo entirely, so let's have a look at the other 3 components we want to look at. So we'll look at dynamic actions. So the buttons up the top right hand side, we'll only show them when it's appropriate. Okay, so we can use component visibility on those buttons as well. We'll have a look at custom components and what you can do with those. And then we'll jump into a brand new Winter 23 preview org. Now, Winter 23 is coming out mid-September, early October, depends where you are, where your instance is. But we'll have a sneak preview there of dynamic pages for accounts, contacts, and opportunities. We'll just look at the account page, but you'll be able to do that on accounts, contacts, and opportunities in Winter 23. So that's important to have a look at. So let's switch screens again. We go back to where we were, back to screen 2. Okay, so here we are at Edge Communication. And as I said, the one thing I don't like is that the details page is not first, the tab's not first. So I'm going to fix that. So I can go straight here to edit page to take me straight into the Lightning record page for this one. Don't know what that bit is, but we're not allowed to see it for some reason. It doesn't matter, we'll get rid of it. Oh, it's a data.com. Okay, well, we'll get rid of that. We don't need it anyway. Okay, so the first issue is this details. So all we need to do there is pick up details and drag it to there, and that'll put it first and change the default. Okay, so when our page loads now, details will be first and that will be displayed. Great, okay. That's a good start. I mentioned that I would show you templates. So if I click in the top, just above that header section, over on the right here, it'll show you what your current template is. And if you don't like that, so the template that I've got has got a header up here where the compact layout is displayed. It's got a details tab here. Well, it's got this, basically the old page layout. in its entirety here. And it's also got an activity panel. So they call this one header and a right sidebar, but we can change that and you can pick any one of these. So you can have that sidebar on the left if you want, and it shows what it looks like on a tablet in landscape portrait. And it also shows you what it's going to look like on a mobile. So they'll be stacked one on top of the other, 1, 2, 3. Okay, or you can have a header in one region, one big page, or 3 regions, whatever you like. So this is where you can select it. And if you wish, you can change it. So if you select a new one, you can go next and you can change that. Okay, but I'm happy with the one that I've got, header and right sidebar. Okay, what I'm not happy about is all of this. This is just really hard to work with. All of these related lists all thrown in here. And as you can see, my user has to scroll up and down to see stuff. Don't like that. News, never seen anything useful on there. I don't really need that. Okay, so these tabs across the top here, we can change those. We can customize them the way we want. First thing I'm going to do is delete those two because I don't want them. I want the details. The next thing that I want, I'm going to add my own tab. Oops, do it one at a time. Just a little bit slow to react. Now, you can select any one of those names, and the names that I want are never there, so I always go custom. And I'm going to call this one, so this is accounts. What's the most common thing you're working with accounts? Probably contacts. So I'm going to put my contacts in here, just click after the name and then go done. Okay, so now I've got a contacts tab. Next, I'm going to add another one. Scroll to the top, go custom. I'm going to go opportunities. And this is where those related lists were important. Okay, and the next one I'm going to call, customize that. I'm going to call it notes and files. But remember, I didn't have enhanced notes enabled, so I won't be able to put those in there, but that's where it will go. And I didn't have history either, but that's where that's probably what I would put in next. I'd put the history tab in there. Okay, so if we select that contacts, as you can see, there's nothing in there. And this is where I use, not the dynamic one, because it's not very good yet. I just grab related list single. So just a single one, pop it in there. And I don't want activity history, I want contacts. There it is. Select that. And don't like the layout of that. I like the enhanced list. And I'm happy to just have 10 of them. And I can turn on or off this action bar here with this checkbox. So if you don't want them to do any actions but just display them, you can turn that off or you can turn it on. Let's leave that on for now. Next, let's take a look at opportunities. We'll do the same for that. So we'll drag a tab in, a related list single. We will find opportunities, drag that in there. Again, we'll go to the enhanced list. We're happy with 10. We're happy with having the buttons. The next one is notes and files. So same deal, grab files, go to the enhanced list. Now, if we had notes, we could drag, and the reason why we haven't got that is I didn't go to setup and enable them, but you could then grab another related list single and pop it in there and select your notes, but that's why notes are not there, okay? Otherwise they would be there. So we could have a second one because it does say notes and files. Okay, I'll just get rid of that one for now. So what we've been able to do now is hide the things that are not that are important. Well, sorry, hide the things that are not critical right at the very moment. The first thing we want our sales rep to see is the account details page. We've set that as the default, and it's just changed itself. Okay, we set that back. Right, just keep an eye out for that one. Sometimes after you change these orders, it looks like the default tab has been set, but it hasn't. Okay, so if they want to see the contacts for this account, they click there, and there's your contacts. There's your opportunities. There's your notes and files. Okay, out of the way, no scrolling, nice and neat, nice and easy. Component visibility is another one. Now, let's add a component to our page. And I just happen to have a component in the form of a flow that we can put on our page. Now, this is a very simple little flow. You can kind of guess what's maybe going to happen there by the name. That is the only, oh no, there are some other flows there. Okay. Only active flows will display, will be selectable, and it tells you up the top here, I think. No, it doesn't actually. No, but anyway, only active flows will be displayed here. Okay, so that flow will run when this page loads. But maybe we don't always want it to display. Maybe we only want this flow to run when the rating is hot. So we can add component visibility, and we can say when rating equal hot. Okay, and you see it has a little orange eye there. Okay, and that just tells you that there's conditional visibility. So the I for visibility. So when the rating equals hot, so if we look at edge communication, our flow is going to run because it is hot as a rating. But another account that maybe is not hot won't show that. Okay, so we looked at templates, we created our tabs, and we put our single related lists in those. They were down here, related list single, this one. So we drag one of those in under each one of these tabs. It could be more than one if you want both notes and files. And we've shown how we can use component visibility here. Okay, the second part is dynamic actions. So dynamic actions are these buttons up the top here. So we can make these dynamic. Now you can see here that there's a prompt to upgrade to dynamic actions. And that's why I went back and I put those buttons in there, because I wanted to demonstrate this. So I'm going to upgrade this page to dynamic actions, and it's going to ask me, do you want to migrate what's there, or do you want to start from scratch? We'll migrate, and we'll take them from our account layout. Okay, so that's our account. That's our page layout, just the standard account layout. Okay, so it's pulled all those in. So you can see them up the top here, edit, delete, new opportunity, but it's also pulled in these ones from down the bottom in our activity panel. We don't need to keep those ones because those ones in the activity panel are still driven by the page layout. Okay, so they're still there. That's fine. Good. Now what we can do is we can say, well, we're pretty sure that our profile doesn't let people delete accounts, but let's just be super safe and let's say, don't even show them the button if they can't delete an account. How do we do that? Well, let's have a look at their profile and only display that if they're a system administrator. So we can go to this advanced option. So we're filtering the record, or filtering, in this case, we're actually going to filter and we select the field. And from here, we can select user fields, but you could even select on a device or on a permission set. We're going to select on user, profile, name, of the profile and go done. And then we're going to say equal system administrator and done. Okay, so now that button has a little eye on it, which tells us that we've got some conditional visibility, meaning only when the user profile name equals system administrator will that button be displayed. Okay, you could set a couple of profiles. You could say, well, if it equals manager or something like that, and you could have several of them in your conditional visibility. Okay, so now we can control buttons up there. We can conditionally display a flow component. The next part that we really want to look at is over here. Okay, and this is where we get to dynamic pages. But before we do that, let's have a look at what we've achieved so far. So let's save that page. It has already been activated. I played with it earlier. Nice, clean page. Okay, no scrolling. Doesn't go anywhere. We've collapsed the information. I'm logged on as system administrator, so this section is going to display. Here's our flow called Astro, and as you can see, displays a picture of our favorite character, driven by this rating field, if you remember, because we put conditional visibility on that component. So if we change to warm, bingo, Astro disappears. We also had some other conditional visibility that I didn't mention. No, it's on the next page. Okay, the other thing is that delete button. Because we're logged on as system administrator, we are going to see that. But if we log in as another user, we are not going to see that button. Okay. All right, so, and now let's have a look at contacts. Okay, good. Good, we've got our opportunities there. We've got our files, and if we enabled notes and history, we could have had some notes and some history in here as well. Okay. Right, so far so good. What we've achieved here is we've gotten rid of all the guff that we don't need. We've made it nice and clean, nice and clear, nice and easy. Nothing worse than a user, once they have to scroll down through lots and lots of related lists underneath the page, you'll notice that the page performance is much slower. And the other part of the performance that we're interested in is the user performance. Okay. If we've got lots and lots of related lists and lots of fields in here like facts and things like that that are simply not relevant, then the user performance suffers as well. Now we've made it really easy for them to quickly see the details of their account. If they want to work with contacts, they're here. They can add a new contact there. They can create a new opportunity. They can hover over an opportunity. Excuse me. And remember this hover link, so what you get displayed here comes from the compact layout that we built. Okay, so on the account, we've got the account name, the phone number, the website, etc. Those fields, just remember that, because we'll go to an opportunity and you can see it's still the old format. But what I want to show here is now when we hover over the account, okay, so that hover section, that top part there, is our compact layout that we set up before for our account. Okay, so that's where that format and that layout comes from. And you're limited to about 6 or 7 fields for that one. What have we got there? We've got 6, including the name here. I think we can have one more. I think it's 7 in total. Okay, so go back to our account. If we look at Express Logistics, it's got a cold rating. We changed that to hot. Bingo. We now got an Astro. Okay, so that part's working. Our delete button's there, but we're a system administrator. Okay, now we're going to jump to another org. So this one is my preview instance. And if I refresh the page, what you'll see, if you're quick, there it is, new logo. So that's the Winter 23 logo. Now, this page is a dynamic lightning record page. Looks pretty much the same, doesn't it? Account, additional information, description, address, system information. Looks pretty much the same. However, we've got some conditional visibility around some of these fields. Now you can see that we've still got facts. Let's have a look at what the page looks like. It's a bit hard to talk about dynamic pages and how great they are without actually showing them. Okay, looks kind of pretty much the same, doesn't it? I've already broken them up a bit and I've added the contacts and the opportunities. So this looks similar to the other org that we were looking at a minute ago, but this is the new Winter 23 preview. What you'll notice is that instead of the entire page being one big section, these are now all separate sections. Okay, let's just switch back and let's go to Lightning Record page, just so we have a side-by-side comparison. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So here we have in Summer 22, that detail page is all one section. We can either have it or not. We can't do anything else with it. Okay, so that detail, that comes from the old page layout. What we can now do is convert that, and when you first open a page, say an account page in Winter 23 in the Lightning App Builder, you'll have the option over on the right here to convert to a dynamic page, and it will do an auto conversion, or you can do it manually. Okay, so now that entire section, so that's why we break them up into sections, that entire section can be controlled. We can set visibility, we can set the number of columns. We can do things like, okay, so now, and this was the advantage of grouping them together into sections, we can say, okay, system information, nobody cares about it unless you're administrator. So let's set visibility on that and say, only show that to system administrators. So nobody else will see it. It's not on their page. That's a good start. Okay, we've also got some other things here. Facts has got conditional visibility on it. Why is that? So we can now treat every individual field as a component. So facts is only going to display when we've got more than 5,000 employees. So those big old organisations that still might have a fax number, we better display it for them. Okay, so more than 5,000, they get a fax. Okay, ticker symbol and SIC code. I said If the billing country equals United States, then display that. Otherwise, they won't display. Okay, so we've now got conditional visibility right down at the field level. And we've got that system information only showing, and we've done that at an entire section. Okay, so you've got all these options now. So imagine what you could do on, for example, an opportunity or a lead page. Well, you won't be able to do it on leads yet. They're not available as a dynamic page in winter 23. That'll be another release, maybe one or two before that's available. But there will be on opportunities. Now, opportunity is kind of special because it has a path that it goes through, and it goes stage by stage by stage. And it would be really helpful to be able to only show the fields that are relevant and are needed on the page when you're at an advanced stage. For example, if you've just created an opportunity, then things like industry, ownership, stuff like that, some of the things that are common also to an account, might be relevant to have on the page. But there might be fields like the amount of the opportunity. Well, that's not really known until a bit further along the path when you've actually added some products. So if you haven't added any products, and maybe you've got a counter on your record that counts how many products there are, if the number of products is 0, why bother even display the amount field? You could just hide that completely with conditional visibility, as you can do for an individual field. Okay, so I don't think we made any changes, but we'll just save that just to be on the safe side. We'll go back now and have a look at how our dynamic page works. Okay, so if the number of employees was greater than 5,000, we said, okay, so we need to make it smaller, then the fax number is going to disappear. Bang, gone, just like that. So no need for a page refresh. It just happens automatically. The other one was the address. And you notice that we've got a couple of gaps here. So that address, okay, it only says US, but we were very specific. We said United States. And it was on the billing address country. Okay, so if we save that, now that ticker symbol and the SRC code have displayed. If we change that address, it will disappear again. Okay, so not only can we make our pages way less cluttered, they can be truly dynamic, and that they only display things like you've really got to think about how you're going to design this now. Account pages, that's not too bad. It's pretty easy. It's going to get a bit trickier when you start looking at an opportunity page where you're only going to want certain fields to be displayed depending upon what stage the opportunity's at. My advice there is start and break your opportunity page into sections like this. So if you're at the stage 1, then maybe stage 1 is you've got to fill out everything in this section here, this account information section. If you're in stage 2, then maybe there's some additional stuff down here that needs to be filled out in this section. And then if you're in stage 3, stage 4, etc., that way you can conditionally show that section only when they've moved along the path to that stage. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed today's session, and I hope that there's some tricks and a few things that you've learned that you'll be able to use on a Lightning record page. Next thing I need to do Oh, just in conclusion, I'm just looking at my notes, sorry. To be able to get this really good user input needs, to get a really good page display, it needs user input. So you need to sit down with your users when you're designing these pages. Okay, it's not something that you do off in your office and then push it out to everybody and say, there you go, there's your new page. No, you sit down with them and you show them the types of things that you can do and get them thinking and get them helping you to design that page. Because what you think might be really good, they might disagree. They might say, no, actually, that's not really important to me. I would actually prefer that it look like this. Okay. The other thing is, remember, performance is not just about the technical side. Performance is also the user performance. Make it easy for them to be able to perform their job. Put the relevant fields together. Make sure that the screen flows so that they can go click, click, click in a sequence to do the task that they need to do. They're not jumping all around the page. And we certainly don't want them scrolling the page if we can avoid it. If you spend an hour making your design a bit better, the payoff for that can be immense. Imagine if you spend 1 hour fixing the account page, just 1 hour. And if you save your users 1 hour a month, there is 12 hours saved for every user every year. So if you've got 20 users, there's 240 hours that you've saved every year and only cost 1 hour. So that payoff is immense. So look at the pages that are really active. Things like, depends on your organization, but things like opportunities where users are going in frequently. Sorry, there was nothing there to see on the screen. I'll stop sharing. Yeah, so perfecting that design will really pay off very quickly. Okay, the last thing I'll do is I'll just quickly share the raffle link again in case somebody didn't get it. Okay, we'll give you any questions before we fire up the raffle. If you've got any questions, pop them into the chat. I hope you found something useful. Okay, we've still got a few minutes left. No, okay. Oh, no, just a thank you. Okay. All right, there's no rule say we can't be early. Final countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's run the raffle. Hopefully we've got some people signed up. If I reload this page here, something should happen. Are you ready? Here we go. And the winner is, oh, I've got to hit the stop button. Are we ready? Now, there you go. I'll take a screenshot of that just to make sure that we don't lose that. Okay, so congratulations to Ashan Jardoon. You're our winner today. So congratulations. AHSANJADON is our winner. Okay, well, that was fun. I've got another session later on today about migrating to Flow. It's only a 30-minute session, but I've got some tips and techniques there. Flow is kind of thing that I'm really interested and passionate about. However, I do enjoy building better Lightning record pages, and I've been looking forward to these dynamic lightning pages since I actually saw them demonstrated in Dreamforce in 2018. So I've been waiting 4 years to see this. It's taken an awful long time. But as of Winter 23, and that's coming up September, October, you'll be able to do that for accounts, contacts, and opportunities. Next release after that, we're hoping for leads, and I think cases and a few others are coming after that. You, of course, can do them now for custom objects as well. So those techniques where we broke up that page and we could control individual components on that page and apply visibility and things like that to them, we can do now on custom objects. Okay, it's only the standard objects that we've been held back with, and now we're getting accounts, contacts, and opportunities. So exciting time for Winter 23. Okay, we're 3 minutes early. We're done. We have a winner, and I hope you've enjoyed the session. Feel free to catch up with me on social media. I'll just quickly share back to my last page. This one. Okay. There's my, oops, share. Okay, so you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Twitter, and you can also find my courses. The Flow course has been extremely popular. You can find that at Certified CRM. So I've got some Flow courses there. There's a free admin course. Flow's a paid one. There's Advanced Admin, App Builder, and Sales Cloud as well. And I am working on another course that will include components of what I've just talked about today about page design. I've just got to build some videos for that. So that'll come out soon as well. So feel free to connect with me on any of those socials and enjoy the rest of the conference. And I'll say goodbye. Thank you.